Hello viewers, welcome to online course on Mathematics 3. This course basically for undergraduate student or BTech student of engineering field. Today we are going to discuss about the subgroup, and this part is on the group theory. Myself Sanjay Vishwas, Assistant Professor of Mathematics of Department of Applied Science and Humanities of Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. Here is my details of contact information. If you have facing any kind of problem regarding my online class, you can call me or send message through my mail ID. So before we start today's lecture, let's quickly recall in the last lecture. So in the last lecture we have discussed about the introduction of group theory, and this part is on the module algebraic structure. So in this lecture we have discussed about the integral power of an element of a group. That means a to the power n. This is the integral power of a element, this power of n, and it is written as a composition and up to n times. And after that we have discussed about the order of an element of a group, and in this section we have talked about the definition of order of elements of a group. So that means there exists a list element such that a to the power n is equal to e, where a be an element of a group G. Okay, where a be an any element of a non-empty set G. And after that we have discussed about the theorem on order of a group. So in that section we have talked about some basic theorem on the order of a group, and then we have talked about the residue classes module M, and in this section we have talked about the definition and some examples on the residue classes of module M, and then we have talked about some related examples on order of a group and residue classes of module M. So today we will talk about the subgroup in the module of algebraic structure, and this is my third lecture on the module algebraic structure. So here is the content of today's lecture. So at first we will talk about the definition of subgroup, and after that we will discuss some related theorem on subgroups, and then we will study on some related examples on subgroup of a group G composition. Okay, where G, composition is a binary operation. At first we will begin with the definition of subgroup. So a non-empty subset H of a group G composition is said to be a subgroup of G if H itself is a group under the binary operation composition of G. So what is the definition of a group? So the definition of group is G be a non-empty set and composition is a binary operation and satisfy the following properties. That means G composition satisfy the closure property, associative property, identity property, and inverse property. Then G composition be a group. And in that section, where H be a non-empty subset of G and H is itself a group under the binary operation composition. So that means H composition satisfied the four properties of a group. That means H composition is closed, it is associative, it satisfies the identity property, as well as it has inverse. So that means every element has an inverse and lies in H. So that's why H composition is a group. Okay, and H is a subset of G, so H composition is a subgroup of G composition. And since every set is a subset of itself, so G is itself a subgroup of G. So So you know that G is a subset of G. So this G composition is also a subgroup of G. Again, the subset of G containing only identity elements is also a subgroup of G. And G is a non-empty subset, and you know G is a non-empty subset, that is E is the element is lies in G. So and E is also a subgroup of G. Thus every group G composition has at least two subgroups, and these two subgroups are E and G itself, and these two subgroups are called trivial or improper subgroup, and all other subgroups are called non-trivial subgroup or proper subgroup of G composition, where composition is a binary operation. So for example, the multiplicative group 1, minus 1, and this is a subgroup of the multiplicative group 1, minus 1, I and minus I. So in that case, where G is a set and G contains 4 elements, 1, minus 1, I and minus I, and H, let H is equal to is a set and which contain 2 elements, 1 and minus 1. So H is a subset of G. Okay, and H composition, and composition is a multiplication, so H composition satisfied all the properties of a group, that means closure property, associative property, identity property, and the inverse property as well. So therefore H composition, that means 1, minus 1 is a subgroup of the multiplicative group 1, minus 1, I minus I, and the additive group of even integer is a subgroup of the additive group of all integers. So in that case, where Z plus, where plus is the operation and Z is the set of integer, and Z plus contain the elements 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3 and up to infinity, and set of even integer, that means 2Z, and which contain the elements 0, plus minus 2, plus minus 4, plus minus 6. So that is 2Z is a subset of Z, and which is also the group. Therefore 2Z is a subgroup of additive group Z plus, as well as the additive group of odd integer is a subgroup of the additive group of all integers. So there is a theorem on the subgroup. The first theorem, it will be the identity element of a subgroup is the same as that of the group. So that means the identity element of a group G is also the identity element of the subgroup H. Okay, so identity elements are same in both cases, and the inverse of any elements of a subgroup is the same as the inverse of the same regarded as an element of a group. So let A inverse be the inverse of element G, then it is also the inverse of the element H. Okay, where H is a subset of G. So here is the proof of the second theorem. Let H be a subgroup of G composition, then we define the inverse of H as H inverse. Okay, and H inverse is equal to H inverse such that H, small h is belongs to capital H, where small h is the element and capital H is the subset of a set G. Okay, so H inverse is a subgroup of G and consisting of the inverse of the element of H. And there is a note on the inverse properties of a subgroup. So in fact, this definition can be extended for any subset of a group. Okay, so in that case, I will take any arbitrary element. So this definition is defined for all the elements of a subset of a group, and it it is defined for the extended of any subset of a group. Okay, so after that we will take one more theorem on the subgroup. Let H be any subgroup of a group G composition, then H inverse is equal to H. This is the third theorem on subgroup. So here is the proof of the third theorem. Let H belongs to H. Okay, where small h is the element and it is belongs to a capital H, or a capital H be a subset of a set G. Okay, so then H belongs to H implies H inverse is belongs to H. So you know H is a subgroup of G composition. So H composition is also a group and it satisfies the following four properties. That means closure property, the associative property, identity property, and the inverse property. So if H is belongs to H, so and applying the inverse property of a group, we have H inverse is also belongs to H. So therefore, H inverse of inverse, where H inverse is an element and it is belongs to H. So now applying the inverse property of a group, we are seeing that H inverse of inverse and it is belongs to H inverse. Okay, and this implies you know that H inverse of inverse is equal to H, that is H is belongs to H inverse. So thus H is a subset of H inverse. That means H is belongs to H and it is implies H is belongs to H inverse. That means H is a subset of H inverse. Again let K be an element and it is belongs to H inverse. And since K inverse of inverse is equal to K, so K inverse is belongs to H. Okay, so you know that K is belongs to H inverse. So if we replace K by K inverse of inverse, so K inverse of inverse is belongs to H inverse. So from this we'll get K inverse is belongs to H. So as H is a subgroup, so K is belongs to H. So K be an element and it is belongs to H. So thus K belongs to H inverse and it is imply K belongs to H. So therefore H inverse is a subset of H. So now combining these two, that means H subset of H inverse and H inverse is subset of H, we get H is equal to H inverse. So hence the proof of the third theorem on subgroup. But the converse part, that means the converse of the above theorem is not true. That is, if H is equal to H inverse, then H may not be a subgroup of G. So for example, consider the multiplicative group G cross, where cross is the operation multiplication. So where G is equal to G be the set and which contain two elements 1 and minus 1, and H be a non-empty set and which contain the element minus 1. So then H inverse and it is equals to minus 1 as well, and this is equals to H. So as minus 1 is the inverse of minus 1 in G, but H is not a subgroup of G, as H is not closed with respect to the multiplication. Okay, so the converse part of the above theorem is not true. So after that we will take one more theorem on the subgroup of a group G. So here is the theorem. A non-empty subset H of a group G composition is a subgroup of G if and only if A comma B belongs to H imply A composition B belongs to H, and A belongs to H implies A inverse belongs to H. And this is the very important theorem on the subgroup of a group G composition. And applying this theorem, we will find some typical examples on the subgroup of a group G composition. Okay, so here is the proof of the given theorem. The conditions are necessary. So let H be a subgroup of G composition, then H is itself a group with respect to the composition. Okay, so H is closed with respect to the operation composition, as well as it is associative. It satisfies the identity element and it has an inverse. Okay, so H is closed with respect to the operation composition. So if A comma B is belongs to H, and you know that H is a non-empty set, so in that case let A B belongs to H. So and this imply A composition B is belongs to H. As well as you know that H is a group, so the inverse property is also satisfied. So A is belongs to H implies A inverse is also belongs to H. Okay, so the condition is necessary. Now we will talk about the sufficient condition. So by 1, H is closed with respect to the operation. So that means AB belongs to H and A belongs to H implies A inverse belongs to H. So applying these two conditions, we will find H composition is a subgroup of G composition. So this is the sufficient conditions of the above theorem. So by 1, H is closed with respect to the operation composition. That means A comma B belongs to H implies A composition B belongs to H. And the operation composition is associative in H as it is hold in G. So you know that G is a group and composition is the operation and it is associative, so it is associative as well in H. Okay, and by the second properties of the above theorem, that means A belongs to H implies A inverse belongs to H. Then from the first property we are seeing that A composition A inverse and it is also belongs to H. That means H is satisfy the closure property, and A composition A inverse it is equals to you know that E, and E is belongs to H, where E is the identity element and it is lies in H. And by 2, the inverse of each element of H exists in H. So H composition satisfied the 4 properties, that means closure, associative, identity and inverse properties of a group. So therefore H is a group with respect to the operation composition. Thus H is a subgroup of G. So let us move on the next slide. So in this slide we will take one more theorem on subgroup of a group G. So a necessary and sufficient condition for a non-empty subset H of a group G composition to be a subgroup is that A comma B belongs to H and it is implies A composition B inverse belongs to H. So that means there is only one properties for which H composition is a subgroup of G composition. But in general, if H composition is satisfied the 4 properties of a group, then it is a subgroup of G composition. But in this theorem, we will prove that there is a properties, that means A composition B inverse. If it is belongs to H, then H composition is a subgroup of G composition. As well as H composition be a subgroup of G composition, then from this we will get A composition B inverse, it is belongs to H. This is the 5th theorem on subgroup of a group G. So here is the proof of the 5th theorem. First we will prove the necessary condition. So let H be a subgroup of G composition. So H is also a group and it satisfies the following 4 properties, that means closure, associative, identity and the inverse property. So if B is belongs to H and B be any elements in H and H is a non-empty set, you know that, so there exists an element and let B be any element and it is belongs to H. Then from the inverse property of a group we are seeing that B inverse is also belongs to H. So therefore A belongs to H, B inverse belongs to H and it is implies A composition B inverse is also belongs to H, where A be an element is lies in H, B inverse is also an element and it is the inverse of B and where B is in H. So A belongs to H, B inverse belongs to H, then from the closure properties of the operation composition, A composition B inverse it is also belongs to H. So this is the proof of the necessary condition of the following theorem, and after that we will prove the sufficient condition of the above theorem. So let A comma B is belongs to H. This implies A composition B inverse it is belongs to H. So applying this condition we will find the subset H of a group G composition. It is a subgroup of G composition. So then from the above condition let A comma A is belongs to H, where A be any elements in H. Then applying the above theorem, that means A composition A inverse, and it is also belongs to H, where B is equal to A inverse. Okay, so A composition A inverse it is belongs to H, and this implies E is belongs to H, and A composition A inverse is equal to E, you know that. So thus the identity element E is an element of H, that is the identity property is satisfied. Now E and A is belongs to H, and from the above relation we will find E composition A inverse and it is belongs to H. That means A inverse is belongs to H, that is the inverse property is also satisfied. Thus the inverse of each element of H exists in H. So that's why H composition satisfy the inverse property as well. Now let A comma B is belongs to H, then B is belongs to H, and it is implies B inverse is also belongs to H. So B is the element in H, and H composition is satisfied the inverse property as well. So B inverse is also belongs to H. So therefore A comma B inverse is belongs to H. Then from the above properties we will find A composition B inverse of inverse, that means A composition B, and it is also belongs to H. So therefore H is closed with respect to the operation composition, and the operation composition is associative in H as it is holding a G. So G composition is associative, so H is a subset of G, and H is also satisfied the associative property as well. So hence H is a group with respect to the operation composition. Thus H is a subgroup of G. Now we are move on the sixth theorem on the subgroup. So the necessary and sufficient condition for a non-empty finite subset H of a group G composition to be a subgroup is that A comma B belongs to H implies A composition B belongs to H. This is the theorem. So here is the proof of the above theorem. First we are going to prove the necessary condition. That means let H be a subgroup of G composition, then we will prove that A composition B belongs to H. So you know H is a subgroup of G composition, so H is itself a group, and H must be satisfied the closure property as well as associative property. So if it satisfies the closure property with respect to the operation composition, then A comma B belongs to H implies A composition B belongs to H. Is the proof of the necessary condition, and after that we will prove the sufficient condition. So let A be an element of H, then A square, and A square is equal to, you know that, A composition A, and it is also belongs to H. A to the power 3, that is equals to A composition A square, and it is also belongs to H. By the above relation we have seen that A composition A inverse it is belongs to H, and so on. So by the given condition, since H is a non-empty finite subset, so there exists a positive integer n such that A to the power n is equal to E, where E is the identity element. So now A composition A to the power n minus 1, and that is A to the power n divided into two parts, A composition A to the power n minus 1, and it is equals to E. So therefore A to the power minus 1, that is A inverse, is equals to a to the power n minus 1, and a to the power n minus 1 is also belongs to H by the given condition. So therefore A belongs to H, and it is implies A inverse is belongs to H. Then by the previous theorem, H is a subgroup of G composition. So there is a note on the above theorem. The above theorem is not valid for infinite subset. For example, Z plus is a group and Z plus is a subset of Z consisting of all positive integers. Then Z plus is closed with respect to the addition, but a subgroup of Z as 0 does not belongs to Z plus. So Z plus is not satisfy the closure property. So Z plus is not a subgroup of Z plus. Let us move on the next theorem. So this is the theorem number 7. The intersection of any two subgroup of a group G composition is a subgroup of G. This is the 7th theorem on a subgroup of a group G. So let H1 and H2 be two subgroup of G. Then H1 intersection H2, and it is not equals to 5. So you know that H1 and H2 to non-empty set in that case, and H1 and H2 are two subgroup of G. So H1 intersection H2, and it is not equals to 5. That means E is belongs to H1 as well as E is belongs to H2. So and the identity element E is lies in H1 as well as H2. So H1 intersection H2 is not equals to 5. That means H1 intersection H2 is not a empty set. So now let A comma B is belongs to H1 intersection H2. So therefore A comma B is belongs to H1 as well as A comma B is belongs to H2. But H1 and H2 are subgroup of G. So from the above theorem, A comma B is belongs to H1, and this implies A composition B inverse it is belongs to H1, as well as if A comma B belongs to H2, and this implies A composition B inverse it is belongs to H2. So therefore A composition B inverse is belongs to H1 intersection H2. So hence A comma B belongs to H1 intersection H2, and this implies A composition B inverse it is belongs to H1 intersection H2. Thus H1 intersection H2 is a subgroup of G. So the intersection of any family of subgroup of a group is a subgroup, and this is the proof of the above theorem. But the union of any two subgroup of a group is not necessarily a subgroup. So for example, let Z plus, okay, so Z plus is the group where Z is the set of integer and plus is the operation addition. So be an additive group of integer, and let H1, so H1 is a subset of Z, and H1 is equal to 0 plus minus 2 plus minus 4 and up to infinity, where H1 is a subset of Z, as well as H2, and H2 is equal to 0 plus minus 3 plus minus 6 plus minus 9 and up to infinity, and it is also a subset of Z, and both are the subgroup of Z plus. But H1 union H2, and it is equals to 0 plus minus 2 plus minus 3 plus minus 4 plus minus 6 and up to infinity. This is the union. The union means you know that the elements is lies in H1 or H2. So it is not a subgroup of Z plus, because 2 plus 3, and 2 is the element in H1 as well as 3 is the element in H2, but 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. It is not belongs to the set H1 union H2. That means H1 union H2 is not closed with respect to the addition. So H1 union H2 is not a subgroup of Z plus. So that means the union of any two subgroup of a group is not necessarily a subgroup of G composition. Let us move on the next slide. So in this slide we will discuss about product of two subgroup. So here is the definition. If H and K are two subgroup of a group G composition, then Hk is equal to X. So Hk is equal to X. X will be the element such that X is equal to H composition K, where H is belongs to H and K is belongs to K. This is the product of the two subgroup of a group G composition. So obviously Hk is a subset of G. Also it can be easily verified that Hk inverse is equal to K inverse into H inverse. So here is the theorem on product of two subgroup. So let H and K be two subgroup of a group G composition, then Hk is a subgroup of G if and only if Hk is equal to Kh. So here is the proof of the above theorem. So suppose Hk be a subgroup of G. So from this we will prove that Hk is equal to Kh. So let Hk is belongs to H into K, where H into K, where small h and small k be two elements in the set H and K, where H and K are the two subgroup of G composition. Okay, so then Hk inverse, it is also belongs to Hk, where Hk is a group and it satisfies the inverse property as well. So every element has an inverse and it is also belongs to this group, that means Hk. So Hk belongs to H into K, then Hk inverse is also belongs to Hk. So as Hk is a subgroup of G. So therefore Hk inverse, and it is equals to say H1 into K1. So for some H1 is belongs to H and K1 is belongs to K. So therefore Hk is equal to, so from the above equation we will find Hk is equal to H1 K1 inverse. So there is a properties of the inverse function, H1 K1 inverse is equal to K1 inverse into H1 inverse. So it is also belongs to Kh, where K1 inverse is belongs to K and H1 inverse is belongs to H. So thus Hk is belongs to Hk is implies Hk belongs to Kh. That is Hk is a subset of Kh, where Hk and Kh both are the subgroup of G composition. And we can write it equation number 1. And next let K2 into H2 and it is belongs to Kh. And from this we will find K2 into H2 and it is belongs to Hk. That means K2 into H2 is belongs to Kh, and then K2 is equal to, that is belongs to K, and H2 is also belongs to H. And you know that H and K both are the subgroup of G composition, so it satisfies the inverse property as well. So K2 inverse is also belongs to K and H2 inverse is also belongs to H. That means H2 inverse into K2 inverse, it is also belongs to Hk. And you know that Hk is a subgroup of a group G composition and is also a group, and it satisfies the inverse property as well. So H2 inverse K2 inverse is belongs to Hk, so its inverse is also belongs to Hk. So that means H2 inverse K2 inverse of inverse, it is also belongs to Hk, as Hk is a subgroup of G. So therefore applying the inverse properties, that means H2 inverse K2 inverse of inverse, it is equals to, that K2 inverse of inverse into H2 inverse of inverse, and H2 inverse of inverse, it is equals to H2, and K2 inverse of inverse, it is equals to K2. So therefore K2 into H2 and it is belongs to Hk. So thus K2 H2 is belongs to Kh implies K2 H2 belongs to Hk. That is Kh is a subset of Hk, and we can write it equation number 2. So from equation 1 and 2 we conclude that Hk is equal to Kh. This is the necessary conditions of the above theorem. Now we are going to prove the sufficient condition. That means if Hk is equal to Kh, then from this we will find Hk is a subgroup of G. That means from this we will prove that Hk is a subgroup of G. Okay, so let alpha is equal to H3 into K3 and it is belongs to Hk, and beta be the element, it is also belongs to Hk, and it is equals to say H4 into K4. Okay, and it is belongs to H into K, where H3, K3, H4, K4 are the elements of a group Hk. So therefore alpha into beta, and you know that alpha into beta it is equals to H3 into K3 into H4 into K4. Now applying the associative properties, and then from this we will find H3 into K3 into H4 into K4, and you know that K3 into H4, and we can write it H5 into K5. So you know that Hk is equal to Kh, so K3 into H4, and we can write it H5 into K5. For some H5 belongs to H and K5 belongs to K. So from this we will get H3 into H5, again applying the associative properties, we will find this one H, that means H3 into H5 and K5 into K4. And H3 into H5 it can be written as H6, and K5 into K4 and can be written as K6. Okay, and H6, K6, and it is also belongs to Hk, where H6 is equal to this, that means H3 into H5 and it belongs to H, and K6 and it is equals to K5 into K4 and it also belongs to K. So from this we will get alpha beta is belongs to Hk and implies alpha into beta is belongs to Hk, and we can write it equation number 3. And again alpha inverse is equal to H3 into K3 of inverse, and it is reduced to K3 inverse into H3 inverse. Okay, so this is the properties of the inverse function, and K3 inverse into H3 inverse it is belongs to Kh, and you know that Kh is equal to Hk, that is given. So alpha is belongs to Hk implies alpha inverse is also belongs to Hk. So from equation 3 and equation 4, Hk is a subgroup of G. Okay, this is the proof of the above theorem of product of two subgroups. So here is the note on the above theorem. If H and K are two subgroup of an abelian group G, then Hk is a subgroup of G. So after that we will take some examples on the subgroup. So here is the example. Let G composition be a group and A is belongs to G, A be any elements in G, then so that the set H is equal to A to the power n such that n belongs to Z of all integer power of A is a subgroup of G. So here is the proof of the above properties or above examples. Here H is equal to minus infinity to a to the power minus 3, a to the power minus 2, a to the power minus 1, a to the power 0, a to the power 1, a to the power 2, a to the power 3, and up to infinity. So that means H is equal to a to the power n, and it can be written as this. And let a to the power m and a to the power n be two elements, and it is belongs to H, where m and n are belongs to Z. You know that the set of all integer. So the inverse of a to the power n, it is a to the power n whole to the power minus 1, that means a to the power minus n. Therefore a to the power n into a to the power n whole to the power minus 1, it is equals to a to the power n into a to the power minus n, where a to the power n whole to the power minus 1 is equal to a to the power minus n. So from this we will get a to the power m minus n. So therefore a to the power m minus n, it is belongs to H, as m minus n is belongs to Z. So therefore a to the power m comma a to the power n is belongs to H implies a to the power m into a to the power n whole to the power minus 1 is belongs to H. That means if a comma b belongs to H implies a composition b inverse is belongs to H, then you know that H is a subgroup of G composition. I have already proved that theorem in this section. So therefore H is a subgroup of G. After that, we'll take the second example on the subgroup. Given Z, the group of integer with addition, and H, a subset of Z consisting all multiple of positive integer m, that is k into m, where k is equal to 0 plus minus 1 plus minus 2 and up to infinity. Then show that H is a subgroup of G. So here is the solution of the second example. Let A is equal to R into M and B is equal to S into M. Be two elements of H where R and S are some integer. Then the inverse of B is equal to Sm and it is equals to minus Sm. Okay. So therefore minus B is equal to minus S into M. So from this A plus minus B, it is equals to R into M plus minus of S into M. That means after taking M as common, then from this you get R minus S of M, and it is also belongs to H, as R minus S is an integer. So thus A belongs to H, B belongs to H is implies A plus of minus B is also belongs to H. That means A minus B is belongs to H. So hence H is a subgroup of G. So you know that this is the theorem on a subgroup. If A and B be two elements is belongs to G, then A composition B is belongs to G. If and you know that A comma B is belongs to H, then it is implies A composition B belongs to H. That means H is a subgroup of G composition. We have already proved that theorem. So applying this theorem, we will find H is a subgroup of G. So after that, we will take the third example on the subgroup of a group G. So let GL of 2 comma, this is the matrix. Okay, so general matrix of order 2 cross 2, and whose elements are in real number. So be a multiplicative group of all real non-singular matrix of order 2, so that the set H and H is equal to, this is the subset A, B, C, D. So H is also a 2 cross 2 group. Okay, so whose elements are in row A, B and C, D. Such that AD minus BC is equals to 1. That means determinant value of H is equal to 1. So is a subgroup of GL of 2 comma R. So here is the solution. So since I2 is equal to 1 0 0 1, this is the identity element, it belongs to H. So H is a non-empty set. So let A comma B, so A B B to matrix, and it also belongs to H. Then date of A, so determinant of A is equal to 1 as well as determinant of B is equal to 1. So you know that date of A, B, C, D, and it is equals to AD minus BC, and it is equals to 1. This is given. So now date AB, and it is equals to, from the properties of date function, date AB is equal to date A into date B, where date is equal to 1 as well as date B is equal to 1. So date of AB is equal to 1. So AB belongs to H. Therefore, A comma B belongs to H is implies AB belongs to H. Again, since date A is equals to 1, it is not equals to 0. So A inverse exists, and date of A inverse it is equals to 1 by date A. That is also 1. So you know that A inverse is equal to identity. So therefore, A inverse is also belongs to H. So that means A is belongs to H is implies A inverse is also belongs to H. So therefore H is a subgroup of GL of 2 comma R. So that means H satisfied the two conditions, AB belongs to H as well as A inverse is belongs to H. This is the another theorem on the subgroup, and I have already discussed in this lecture. A comma B belongs to H implies A composition B belongs to H, and A belongs to H implies A inverse belongs to H. Then H composition is a subgroup of G composition. Okay, And applying this theorem, we will prove that H composition is also a subgroup of GL of 2, R. So after that, we will take one more example on the subgroup of a group G composition. So here is the example. The subset H of a group G composition is defined by H is equal to X. This belongs to G, such that X composition G is equal to G composition X for all G belongs to G. So prove that H is a subgroup of G. So here is the solution. Since E composition G is equal to G composition E, so E is the any element of G, so therefore H is a non-empty set. So now let H1 comma H2 and it belongs to H. Then from the above relation, that means H1 composition G is equal to G composition H1 and H2 composition G is equal to G composition H2 for all G belongs to G. So now H1 composition H2 composition G and it is equals to H1 composition applying the associative properties of a group, H2 composition G, and H2 composition G is equal to, you know that, G composition H2. So H1 composition H2 composition G, it is equals to H1 composition G composition H2. So again applying the associative properties, we get H1 composition G composition H2. And you know that H1 composition G, it is equals to G composition H1. So this equation is reduced to a G composition H1 composition H2. So again applying the associative properties, and this implies G composition H1 composition H2 for all G belongs to G. So therefore H1 comma H2 belongs to H implies H1 composition H2 belongs to H. Okay, and again H1 composition G is equal to G composition H1, that means the first properties where H1 is belongs to H and for all G belongs to G. So now taking inverse on left as well as on right on both sides, we get H1 inverse composition H1 composition G composition H1 inverse, and it is equals to H1 inverse composition G composition H1 composition H1 inverse. Okay, and now applying the associative property of the above equation, we get H1 inverse composition H1 composition G composition H1 inverse, it is equals to H1 inverse composition G composition H1 composition H1 inverse. And you know that H1 composition H1 inverse, it is equals to E by the properties of the group theory. So and as well H1 inverse composition H is equal to E. So from the above equation we get E composition G composition H1 inverse, it is equals to H1 inverse composition G composition E. Okay, where E is the identity element, this belongs to H. Then the above equation we will get G composition H1 inverse is equal to H1 inverse composition G. So that means H1 inverse is belongs to H. So therefore H1 is belongs to H implies H1 inverse is belongs to H. Thus H is a subgroup of G. This is the proof of the above examples. So there is a note on the above theorem. The above subgroup H is called the center of G and is denoted by ZG. Okay, so this is actually the definition of a center of G and it is denoted by ZG. And obviously ZG is a commutative subgroup of G. And if A is belongs to G, then the subset defined by C of A and it is equals to X is belongs to G such that XA, that means X composition A is equal to A composition A, and is called the centralizer or the normalizer of the element A, and it is also a subgroup of G. So after that we will take a example, that means this is the fifth example on the subgroup. So determine whether the following subset H is a subgroup of the group G. Then H is equal to 1 to minus 1 and G is equal to Z plus. So in that case, where H is the subset and H is equal to the elements of H are 1 to a minus 1 and G is a group. Okay, where Z is the non-empty set, and Z is the set of integer, and plus is the binary operation. And the second one, it is equals to 0 and 3 are the residue classes. Okay, and in that case where G is the group and G is equal to Z6 plus, and H is a subset of G. So here is the solution of the first problem. So here H is a non-empty finite subset of Z, but it is not closed with respect to the operation addition. As 1 plus minus 1 and minus 1 both elements as lies in H, but 1 plus minus 1 where plus is the operation, it is equals to 0, and 0 is not belongs to H. That means 0 does not belong to H. So hence H is not a subgroup of G. And the second probability will be H, that means 0 comma 3. So 0 and 3 are the residue classes, and G is the group, and G is equal to Z6 plus. So in that case where H is a non-empty finite subset and it is closed with respect to the addition of residue classes, that means 0 plus 3, it is equals to 0, you know that 0 plus 0 is equal to 0, and 3 plus 3, and it is 6, and after divided by Z6, that means it is equals to 0. So hence H is a subgroup of G. That means H satisfies all the properties of a group. So therefore H is a subgroup of G. And after taking one more example on the subgroup, let G be an abelian group, then prove that the subset S and S is equal to P belongs to G such that P is equal to P inverse, form a subgroup of G. So here is the solution. Since E and is the identity element, so inverse of an identity element is identity. So E is equal to E inverse, and where E belongs to S. So therefore S is a non-empty set, and let X is belongs to S. So then X inverse is also belongs to S, as X is equal to X inverse. It is given. So therefore X is belongs to S is implies X inverse is belongs to S. Now let xy, so xy be two elements in S, then from the above relation x is equal to x inverse and y is equal to y inverse. So these two relations are given. So therefore x into y, and it is equals to y into x. You know that G is a abelian group and xy is belongs to G. So therefore xy is equal to y inverse into x inverse, where y is equal to y inverse and x is equal to x inverse. So this implies xy is equal to xy of inverse, and you know that xy inverse is equal to y inverse into x inverse. So therefore xy is belongs to S. So from the above relation we have seen that if P is equal to P inverse, then P is belongs to G. So therefore S satisfy the two condition. That means if x comma y is belongs to S, implies xy is belongs to S, as well as if x is belongs to S, then x inverse is belongs to S. So from the third theorem of a subgroup, and I have already discussed in the beginning of the class, this is actually the subgroup of a group G. So therefore S is a subgroup of G. Hence the proof of the above examples. So I will stop here today's lecture. Thank you.